I was going to do it. I was like, what can I do that's funny? Shouldn't get my bum out. That's just a bit too silly before the first podcast.
Hello everyone and welcome to episode 1 of Splitting Pixels. This is a podcast all about basically nerdy stuff, nerd culture, bit of science. Generally we're going to be out of our depth, at least one of us will be out of our depth in at least one of these subjects, so it'll be interesting to hear just how an absolute layman describes their interpretation of maybe scientific things or even video games we have no idea about. Perhaps we'll get talking about some Japanese stuff that just sounds weird, because the general idea of this podcast is taking the conversations that we have at work and basically just being conceited enough to let other people hear them.
And making that as uncomfortable as possible.
That is a specialty.
It's not hard to do. It's really not.
So, yes, this is episode 1. This is absolutely our first recording. We haven't really done a test recording. Yeah, we were planning on it, but what we'll do is, first of all, we'll go around the table. You get to know a little bit of the people that you're hearing talking. So I'll start us off. What we'll do is we'll do our favourite game, our favourite movie, and maybe our favourite invention or piece of scientific tech.
Matt's face just lit up.
I did brief everyone before this.
That's the one I forgot.
But Matt has forgotten.
Chairs. I choose chairs.
I'm really big on wall, TV, window. So I guess my game and movie is actually really predictable and boring. The game is Final Fantasy VII. It's a lot of people's favourite, and it's kind of seen as a bit of a douchey hipster favourite.
But I think it's like it's not something that you'd expect from you, like because you play shooters and you like Metal Gear.
Yeah,
so then,
that's where I was going to go.
Yeah.
Metal Gear.
I guess the fact that Metal Gear is definitely top 5. But yeah, I think it's I don't really play many Japanese games anymore. It's a bit strange. I think there might be a nostalgia factor, but I honestly I'm not a fan of Final Fantasy really anymore, which is a bit sad. But they keep talking about remaking 7, and I just don't think it's ever going to happen.
Never.
But yeah, so Final Fantasy 7 is my favourite game. Will we do everyone's favourite game and go round, so it's not just me talking for?
Yeah,
please do.
Sure.
Okay, we'll come to Matt last.
Thank you.
I feel like I might get a bit rambly because I like different games for different reasons. Like how yesterday when we were talking about a game that you can always go back to and you're gonna like it no matter what you do. For me, that's Skyrim, because I can just play it for hours and lose myself, and I'll always have fun. But then there's things like Portal that I just love because it was so different when it came out, and it's still just so beautiful, and I just love it. And then there's things like Minecraft, which again you can just play for ages. So,
It's
but I think
digital Lego.
Yeah. So, but I'd say Skyrim's probably up there for favourite game, but I like a lot of games for a lot of different reasons.
That's a strong one for me as well, Skyrim. I think it's a fun place to go back to.
Yeah, I feel like I know it. Like I walk around and I'm like, oh, you like this. It's just great.
I love Fallout. Fallout, I think, is as good as Skyrim.
That's why I need to play it.
But Fallout's harder to go back to because it's so depressing. Like, so much of it is underground and dark and irradiated.
And it came out at that time, like, when all next-gen games were just brown. Like, that was the colour of next-gen.
A little bit. And they also have these weird mannequin-like faces.
Yeah, that really
it's
freaks
quite
me
hard
out
to
when I
get
started
over
playing
that.
it.
Oblivion potato face.
Yeah, well, Oblivion has the glow. Everyone's
Yeah.
got that ironically slightly irradiated glow. Whereas Fallout's a little bit more muted in its colours. But yeah, Oblivion and Skyrim's certainly a good choice. What about you, Alice?
I like Dragon Age. All of them. Can't pick one. Don't make me. I'll beat you up.
Wow. Okay.
Alice is the violent one of the group.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I feel like
She's also in denial.
You're cheating on Tally by saying Dragon Age as opposed to Mass Effect.
See,
You can't just have BioWare.
But I would-
BioWare is my favourite.
Well, that's-
See,
I think
BioWare's
that's-
up there for me. Like
There you
BioWare
go,
in
yeah.
general,
Yeah.
like is great for me.
Well,
I
that's-
was actually thinking of saying Transistor until I went, oh shit, Dragon Age. So don't put Mass Effect in there
Okay,
as
I'm
well.
sorry. I'm sorry. I
In
had to say
terms
that.
of hours spent, I'm guessing that Dragon Age is probably the one that's eaten most time.
I'm not sure because I played.
Did you play WoW or anything?
Well, I played Mass Effect and Dragon Age both on the Xbox before I got PC, so my playtime on both of them is not accurate, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
I've replayed Dragon Age, all of them, more than I've replayed Mass Effect,
Okay.
but I did spend a lot of time on the Mass Effect multiplayer.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah, I heard it was okay.
Yeah, well, it was okay. It's better than the Inquisition multiplayer.
Alright.
Oh, I heard a lot of people quite liked it, but I never tried it.
Is this Mass Effect or Dragon Age?
Inquisition multiplayer.
Alright, okay.
It's just strange.
Yeah.
I can't imagine taking those game mechanics and making them PvP.
Yeah.
Isn't it almost like roguelike? Is that what I remember seeing? It's like you kind of go through dungeons and they kind
Yeah,
of generate.
it's just a dungeon.
Yeah.
Oh, right, so it's not PvP,
No.
it's just co-op.
You like team up, yeah.
Oh, right, okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah, you have to progress through all the levels and then beat the boss at the end.
I
But
think we could be good at that.
it's
Like-
just strange because you can't, like, you're not supposed to be able to get all the way through it on
Yeah.
the first run.
Yeah.
I guess you won't be able to use tactical view, but then you don't need it because everyone's only got one
Well,
person
you can
to
use
control.
tactical view, but that's because it doesn't automatically pause in Inquisition
Oh,
anymore.
Jesus, right, okay.
So, 'cause
Completely negating the point of tactical view, really.
Well, top down's pretty good if you're playing a mage, just because of the area of
Gotcha.
effect spells. but-
That makes sense, yeah.
yeah.
Okay, cool.
Have you decided what your favourite game is yet?
Well,
So we're all RPGs so far.
That's true.
I'm certainly not. I mean, I'm out of my depth there. I've just been sitting quietly listening to this.
Listen.
I've got Skyrim, yet to play it, so
We keep trying to cajole you into it. But
it's fine. I've got so many other games
It
to
is
play
a
right
big
now.
task.
Exactly.
Like, Skyrim is a commitment.
I want
you
to
have a girlfriend and a job.
and another 60 games I've still not played. So
Yeah.
it's somewhere in there. But I how do I decide? There's racing games are a huge part of it, but I'm not sure if that could possibly be my favourite game. 2D platformers, up there. We were talking about Ghouls and Ghosts yesterday at work.
Yeah, yeah.
That's got to be up there just for the challenge. But then I guess I went down the Mega Man route, and I thought Mega Man X, fantastic game. It's got the controls of the originals, which were super solid, super tough game, great fun. It's probably the earliest game I can remember
It
trying to complete.
It benefits from that mentality of if you die, it's your fault. Yeah, it's
Absolutely.
hard. It's hard, but you have the tools to do it.
Yeah.
The only other game I've ever played that ever felt like that was the first two Ninja Gaidens. Don't know if you ever played them,
No.
but you could never get too angry at the game because if you died, it was your fault. It was never the game
Well, that's
too hard.
like Ghouls and Ghosts we were saying. That was Nails. Nails first level, and I only managed to progress to level 2 last year.
Yeah.
And I mean, I hadn't been playing it for a long time. Had a dark age of not playing it, but
Matt's 54 years old, friend.
yeah, no, I am.
When he says Dark Age, he was actually in the
Dark
No,
Ages.
seriously. But it's got that element of if you die, it's your fault. Usually, you get stressed out. You try and speedrun a level, and that's where you'll do worse. And it's the self challenge, the struggle. So
Yeah.
it's going to be a 2D game. It is going to be Mega Man X. But then, to be honest, the characters
Mega
you're
Man
fighting.
X was relatively recent, like in the last 5 or 6
No.
years. right?
That's the Super Nintendo.
What are
It was the
what are
comeback
they on?
after
Oh,
the
right, okay.
after the
'Cause
1
there
to
is a Mega Man 10
9.
as well, isn't there?
What's the new one coming out by the?
X
and
is.
it looks
That's
like Mega Man.
Mighty Number 9.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
It's the actual original designer.
Yeah, it's the same guy,
But-
and he's just like, it's
Yeah.
not Mega Man.
Yeah,
but
but it is.
Is X not 10 for the Mega Man series?
See, I didn't.
I could be wrong. I
don't.
don't even care. Only the first 2
I
matter
know
of
that
the
I
original
know
Mega
that there
Man.
have been a lot of
Yes.
Mega Man games, but I wasn't sure. I thought it's funny because it's one thing we spoke about recently that I really am not a fan of platformers.
Yeah.
Like I grew up like that was generally what was prevalent when I was growing up.
They were pretty much the only game that was around.
Yeah, like I love Sonic and Mario and stuff, but I don't have that same nostalgia for platformers that a lot of people do from my age. You know, my golden age of gaming is actually like PlayStation when things started getting 3D.
But your first game, was it not Sonic or Mario?
Centipede on the Atari 2600.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, we can do first games maybe next episode.
Well, no, it's just I think that's had an effect on me. The first game was Mario, and I remember my sister getting a Nintendo NES and Mario 3, and it was just
so many mushrooms now.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Thanks for that.
I'm just glad you didn't say your favourite game was a driving game, because we've all seen how you drive.
Whoa, no. See,
APP has different
No
rules
excuse.
in general.
exactly. A Formula 1 game is, again, self-competition. It's time trials, trying to get that perfect lap, that corner that you always mess up, or if there's a track you love. No, I shouldn't go down this road. You'll get me started.
This is essentially the discussions that Matt and I have at work. We both like Formula 1. Matt's a much bigger fan of F1 than I am, but I'm mostly still learning the ropes of enjoying F1. But we talk about Formula 1 a bit too much.
Spin-off.
Yeah.
Spin-off podcast.
You can't really hear it, but I'm pretty sure Alice and Sophia's eyes are just constantly rolling in
I'm
their
gonna have
heads
to pick
when
them
we
up
get
from the
started.
floor, I think.
I
I've gone
just-
too
Yeah.
far.
I just pretend that they're all Crash Team Racing characters that I've not heard of.
Well, that could be. Oh man,
that
F1,
could be fun.
F1 with bowling bombs. That could be awesome.
A little
I would
bit-
play that game.
A little bit health and safety.
Little
VR. It's going to happen. VR will take
bit. You'd
us
see
there.
the safety car a lot.
Absolutely.
And then the safety car would get bombed.
Yeah, I just imagine
I don't know
Monaco
where
with
to go from here.
TNT boxes all over it.
Oh wow,
And
yeah.
having to like hop. That's how you got rid of TNT in Crash Team Racing. Is you had to hop
Oh,
your
okay.
car to
Okay.
bounce. Apparently, bouncing TNT is really good for it, and it will just fly off.
I was
Totally
always more
safe.
into Mario Kart, so I'm just thinking bananas on the track. So
Yeah.
The only game that distracted me from Mario Kart was Diddy Kong Racing. That was something else.
I
but
liked it. Yeah, that's kind of classic N64 era racing games.
Really was.
Cool. So that's games. Next one is movies, and mine is something that'll no doubt become apparent during the podcasts. Is that I'm a massive nerd, specifically for Star Wars. My first tattoo was Star Wars. Currently wearing a Star Wars T-shirt. I have a problem. Help me, guys. Okay,
Yeah.
this
Just
is
one?
it's really a cry for help.
Wanted to say you're my only hope there. But
Um,
I'm upset that Ross didn't.
I know.
I know.
Such a
Um,
letdown.
So, my favourite movie is Empire Strikes Back. It's, once again, kind of predictable, kind of obvious. Matt looks upset. I get the
No,
feeling
I'm
that
just
poached
smiling
his
because I
thing.
could have as soon as it was Star Wars, it had to be Empire.
Yeah.
If
I'm a
if you're
big
any
fan
kind
of
of fan.
Episode 1. Jar Jar just really speaks to me as a character. Yeah.
Episode 1 of the podcast, and you've got that guy.
Yeah.
You've mentioned him. Oh
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
No, but I always like, whenever I think of episode 1, there's this thing that Lee Alexander, the game journalist, tweeted, and she was like, there is someone out there who spent so much time on the animation for Jar Jar, and the first time he saw Jar Jar blink, he would have been like, yes, it's happening, and people are gonna love him. And then as it started to realise that it's not going so well, and his heart just slowly breaks because people hate Jar Jar, and he spent so many hours of his life thinking, yes,
Yeah.
this is going so well, and it just breaks my heart because someone works so hard and people are just like, fuck him, he sucks.
I was listening to a podcast recently. I think it's called Reply All. I think that's what it's called, and it's they had a discussion and an interview with the guy who invented the pop-up ad,
Oh god.
and he only recently came out and admitted it, and he's gotten death. What with the internet being what it is, he's gotten death threats and
Of
things
course
like
he
that.
has.
And he's apologised for it. I think he went on. It was like Ellen or Jimmy Kimmel or something big.
Mhm.
And like said, it was me, I apologise, and he's got this really interesting discussion about how he invented them. But I imagine it's a similar thing, you know. I thought I was doing good work,
Yeah,
didn't
thinks he's so
realise I was
innovative.
ruining something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I think that's an apt correlation between Jar Jar Binks and pop-up ads.
Yes,
It's like,
absolutely.
No one really wants to see it. It's irritating. You just wish it would go away,
And
so
if
you can get on with what you want to watch. I mean, it's normally porn if you're getting pop-ups, I guess. But
Well, if you could get
Russian women
ad
are
block,
looking for you.
Yeah,
that's
is
true. If you get ad block for your TV, maybe you could have a lovely, just automatically remove
A
Jar Jar.
silhouette of Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
Instead, it's
You
just,
just
like a
get
cat
white
walking
noise.
around or something,
Yeah.
like that. The ad blocker that replaces everything with cats,
Yeah,
and you could just go meow meow meow.
I would watch that.
Exactly. A definite improvement.
Well, you
But it's
get
such a
those-
shame.
You get those adverts that are like naked or half-naked women climbing onto your desktop to kind of dance on your taskbar.
I don't.
This is a
think
good
I've
illustration
ever
of what Alice is
seen
browsing.
this.
What?
No, Alice.
I just like the thought that someone somewhere turned it into Jar Jar taskbar.
So
Well, now
In
that
a-
needs to happen.
In the metal bikini.
That can be on our website. Like he'll just be there in the corner constantly.
I should preface Alice's discussion with the fact that she is our resident Reddit explorer. She is the one who's willing to
Yeah.
go where we dare not.
Don't tar me with that brush.
Okay.
Someone's got to, and it's.
It could
We're
be
very
worse.
happy it's you.
It could be 4chan.
You're like
Yes.
you are like our Indiana Jones, like diving into Reddit to discover some little bit of information without someone finding out you're a girl and sending you abuse.
Well, then I fully expect you all to chip in and buy me a hat.
Okay,
Because
Will it be a fedora?
it will be a fedora.
Are we going to sign it?
We'll have to buy you a neck beard as well.
Like those hats that have the beards attached to them. We could take the fedora and take the beard from the woolly hat. There we go.
It'd be like Amish Alice.
I think I have to leave.
I think that would be
Okay,
awesome.
well, Empire.
So,
you,
yeah,
you didn't
Empire.
explain yourself because we
Uh,
took over. Sorry.
Yourself.
I love like I remember I never had episode 4 or New Hope. I never had that until I was maybe in my early teens. We had an old version of it taped from Sky, and I can still remember where all the adverts were because I watched that tape so many times. So I never got to watch an Empire regularly until I was maybe in my early teens, and at that point that was when I started falling in love. Like I had the toys. My uncle actually handed me down all his old Star Wars figures, and
Awesome.
I've always had Star Wars in my life. It's God, it sounds like I'm talking about Jesus. I guess
Well,
I kind
there
of
is.
am.
Yeah, people are Jedi's, you
Yeah.
know.
I do have a
Wearing
costume.
robes.
Yeah.
Good. Okay.
Sorry, I made more than enough time eye contact with Matt when I told him I had a Jedi costume. Yeah, so
It's okay. It's okay.
So yeah, I love Empire. The hot just every scene of it, and it just shows you a bigger universe that you never really see in episode 4. You just see Tatooine, and then you see space. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So
Good point.
yeah, I love Empire because it shows you other worlds too.
And it's dark.
Mm.
One of the rare
The baddies win.
spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers for anyone out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Empire is my favourite. What about you, Sophia?
Can we come back to me? I'm struggling over here.
Well, you can pick a couple if you've got a couple.
It's just, again, I like movies for a lot of different reasons, and there's lots of movies that I grew up with, and then there's things like Harry Potter that I love the books, but I wouldn't say that the movies are my favourite.
Okay.
And I like things like Mean Girls because it reminds me of all my friends from back home, but
Well,
again, it's not
Tina,
like
Tina Fey that wrote it as well, I
yeah,
think.
but you know,
I'm not
it's not
sure
like
if
it's a
that's
masterpiece.
flattering or not.
Yeah.
What do you
Mean
mean?
Girls reminds you of your
Oh no, it's
friends.
just because we knew all the quotes and we
Oh.
just quote them to each other and stuff like that. It wasn't because
Sure.
my friends are amazing.
Uh-huh.
But then I don't know. I guess for a film, like I try to think of it as what would I watch definitely if it was on TV? Would I take time to sit and watch? And it's probably Back to the Future 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I would
1 and
al-
2, but not 3.
I didn't really like 3, but I'm not a fan of westerns. And like even though I know it's not really a western, I just couldn't like it. You know, like
That's
I felt like 1
fair
and 2 were kind of they worked together, and you didn't really need 3. Because, well, I mean, I know. Oh, Matt's making faces at me.
I can-
but
well, no,
I can
just-
watch 1 and 2, and it's a full story for me, and I'm satisfied.
I think
Doc
Matt's gonna
leaves.
get
I know,
violent.
but I feel like he's off being happy. You know, like I leave him to it. He's
It's
fine.
such a great ending for
Absolutely.
2 as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Family Guy sum it
Great
up
ending.
brilliantly as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
So
Matt
I'd
just
say
has
those.
abandonment issues.
Well,
Wait.
he doesn't like non-committal chocolate biscuits, so we can see where this is.
Don't
going.
even.
Is that our first
start.
in-joke? That's our first office in-joke, I suppose.
Matt doesn't like half-covered chocolate biscuits.
Make
There
up
we
their
go.
mind. Is all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Before he gets violent,
Yeah.
make up your mind.
But yeah, Back to the Future 1 and 2 is something I would watch whenever it's on. I always enjoy it. It's always funny. It's always great. Yeah.
I would agree. Number 1 is one of my all-time favourite films as well.
And 2 is just great because, you know, they're in 2015 as we know it, and like it's just so ridiculous. But
I
it's
like the
amazing.
mirror.
It's
I
so
like-
colourful. And
I like the mirrors between 55 and 85.
I
and
like
15.
how they're going back and forth a lot,
Yeah.
and it's just and how
Everything's the
they
same.
everything changes as well with that sports almanac, and
Mhm.
it's just great. I just love it so much.
Yeah, I think I go in terms of ranking them. It's 1, 3, 2.
Really?
But I think I didn't even like westerns when I was like. I still don't really like westerns. I just like Clint Eastwood westerns.
Maybe I need to give 3 another go
Hmm.
because I haven't watched it in a very, very long time. So maybe I need to just give it a shot and maybe not judge it as harshly.
And you've got to look out for one of his kids when he's on the train at the very end. Yeah, he's like telling the guy to come towards him, and then he grabs his crotch.
Okay,
This
yeah.
little kid, and they're really weird looking kids as well.
Yeah,
Jules
right.
and Verne.
Okay.
Wait, I'm sorry. What?
It looks like he's got his eyes shut and he's just kind of like flicking his fingers like that, and then he.
Who is?
The wee kid, the blonde.
The kid
one.
is doing the grabbing
Yeah,
of the
he's
crotch.
doing that, and then he
It's not like
pinches
Michael
himself.
Jackson. I think it's like I really need to pee.
Yeah, it's a theory.
But the
that's-
director
that
is
was
still
him.
going.
Yeah.
It's not as good. Another Michael J. Fox film, so it's a sufficient segue. At the end of Teen Wolf,
yeah.
yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're
There's
talking
a guy
about.
in the crowd when they're celebrating at the very end of Teen Wolf who apparently has his thing hanging out of his trousers.
God.
Oh, James.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
there. It's there.
Wait, so the kid in Back to the Future 3, is he a member of the cast?
Yeah.
Yeah, but he
Made it
doesn't
sound as if
actually
it's like,
talk.
You made it sound as if it's like the director's kid just wandered on set and is like, I need a pee.
They're just really creepy. Doc
Yeah.
has some creepy kids in the future.
Okay.
In the past future.
Maybe
I
I'll
think
give-
they're just kids.
They
Even-
are
even-
creepy.
Kids are
They
kinda
are
creepy.
creepy.
Jules or Verne, whichever it was,
Oddly
may have
intense.
needed to go at that point, but it was a beautiful moment between Doc and Marty.
Yeah.
Didn't want to ruin it, just like, oh god, gotta hold on.
Yeah.
That's
Kids
okay,
are
let
creepy
them
in
off.
general, like we can allow it.
A great thing about the third, another great thing about the third Back to the Future movie is years after watching it, seeing the what's the Western trilogy, the famous Good, Bad and the Ugly,
Yeah.
Fistful of Dollars.
For a few dollars more.
Exactly.
Oh, the
the
plate.
trick that Marty takes is
Yeah.
from another movie. It's from
Right,
that movie,
okay.
and that blew my mind.
It's very
and
much a
everyone
film
else
of its
knew.
age. And the music's all referenced in the time period as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, Huey Lewis, I don't think we would have heard of Huey Lewis if it wasn't for Back to the Future.
Well, and American Psycho.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, so did you say, were you between those two?
No, what, Back to the Future 1 and 2?
Yeah.
I'd say that I like them equally.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me, but...
Yeah.
I just think that the second one's just so colourful and funny and crazy. I just
Definitely a
like
good
it.
film. Definitely a good choice. Okay, Alice, you're up.
Can I have a top 3?
It's a bit of a cop-out.
These are
Okay.
dangerous times. Okay.
Labyrinth, because you remind me of Babe.
Wait, one song swings it for you.
No, just in general.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Hocus Pocus, because talking cats and a zombie that takes his head off,
Okay.
and Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Ooh.
Good choice.
Bump, bump.
Is that just because we've been doing that over the last week?
Just because.
It is a great film. It's such a
Yeah.
good film.
Okay, I haven't seen Labyrinth for about 10 years.
No, nor have I. I'm
But
saying
you can't
years.
forget the
The
crotch.
bulge,
You
yeah.
can't forget the bulge.
Yeah, it's
Or
off-putting.
the babe.
Yeah. I do, I love those films, but to be honest, it has come, as an adult, it has come to define that film for me. Is David Bowie in that
The
costume?
whole
and it's,
thing is ludicrous, to be
Yeah,
fair.
yeah.
So much hairspray and
It's a very young
eyeshadow
Jennifer
and glitter.
Connelly, isn't it?
hmm
Yeah. I can't really remember that much. I remember there was, is it Ludo? Or was that Dark
Yeah.
Crystal?
No, they don't.
Ludo. And
And the
Hobble?
well with the hands, all the
Helping
Crazy-
hands.
creepy hands,
Is
really
it
well done. I mean, it was
Labyrinth
just a
or
great,
Pan's Labyrinth, where there's the eyes on the hands and they're like.
That's
Pan's
okay.
Labyrinth.
Okay.
a truly horrifying bad
Which
guy.
looks a lot better.
Well, does it? It's real effects, and I mean, well, actually, it is in Pan's Labyrinth as well. That's, to be fair,
I'm pretty
practical
sure
special effects.
that the eyeless guy in Pan's Labyrinth is the same guy who's the zombie in Hocus Pocus.
Yeah?
Oh, interesting.
I think so. Because he's also Abe Sapien and the creepy ice cream guy in Legion.
Alright, okay.
Because he's like one of those guys who's everyone, but he's famous for not being him.
A bit actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So.
Hocus Pocus, I was a kid when I last saw it. I remember, was it Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and the other one?
The other one, yeah. And it's like the only film that Sarah Jessica Parker is attractive in. Because she's wearing so much makeup.
Yeah. Yeah, you can't even see the bridle under the hood.
Yeah, I know. They've really done well to hide. Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah.
So you must have loved Sabrina the Teenage Witch if you like talking cats.
I may have watched it once or twice.
It's the best show. That show was awesome.
Oh no!
Talking
What's it
about people who have fallen off the face of the planet, Melissa Joan Hart.
I think she is doing
Good
stuff.
point.
I had a massive crush on her as a kid,
Did you?
and
Did she not do a Funny or Die clip recently
Maybe.
to
I
do with
think-
Sabrina?
maybe.
She's like quite active on Twitter, I think, and I want to say she's been doing lots of like charity stuff, but I could just be making that up. But I think she's definitely on Twitter, and she's been, fairly active.
Let's
but-
go with that. Charity maiden.
I guess that's probably also going to be a theme of the podcast. Me going, what happened to this person? And because I don't pay any attention to
Yeah.
generally the world at large,
Yeah.
it's going to be, she was in the news. She killed a guy.
She's dead.
That's what she's doing these days, killing guys. Okay, cool. And what was your third one? Oh, Ferris Bueller.
Yeah.
I hadn't actually seen that until
Why
last
do you
year.
hate all my
last
movies?
year, no. I like that one. I don't dislike any of them. It's just Ferris Bueller was one of those teen movies that I never got around to watching until I was in my kind of mid-20s.
Well,
But-
that's just unacceptable, and I don't think we can be friends anymore.
Is it John Hughes? Is that a John Hughes movie?
I
I
don't
don't like it that much.
I don't know who made it.
Top three, but
Not nerd.
I know John Hughes for doing things like Pretty in Pink, 16 Candles,
Breakfast Club.
Did he do Weird Science as well?
Yes.
And I don't know if Ferris Bueller's Day Off is like what I... It sounds weird, but I know him for those movies, and because I don't know him for that, I'm just assuming he didn't do it.
It's just 80s teen movie. I'm guessing it probably wasn't him.
And I also remember it because I have a friend, Maritza Lugo, who draws lots of like 80s teen movie like portraits, and she did a series of like loads of John Hughes films once, but then she also did a load of portraits from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And so I can't remember if they were in her John Hughes like collection or if she was just doing them because she liked them.
They're definitely the same genre.
Yeah.
Like 80s teen movie is very distinctive.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good choice. I did enjoy that film when I watched it. It's just I need to I've only watched it once, so normally when I really like a film, I'll watch it to the point where I can pretty much recite it verbatim. But that's just a nerd thing, I guess.
I guess so.
it is a great movie. And all movies like that, it's just a pleasure to watch. It's that Sunday afternoon, happy.
You can have it on in the
yeah.
background, or you can.
But no, you will
focus
pay
on it.
attention to it, and you'll have it on DVD, but you'll still watch it. I guess that's the point of these favourite movies.
Okay, well, what's your favourite?
We could go down a whole route of different things with actors or genres, but Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves.
Okay, now that I hear you say it, I'm not surprised.
Nope.
I don't know if I am either. Okay, let's go on.
Everything
What is there to say?
is a quote from that movie.
Look, when I was growing up, I don't know why, it just seemed to be the only thing we watched, and I have 3 siblings, and we can pretty much get through the entire movie without any help, just quoting it to each other.
Did you used to like act it out or anything?
No,
like
no,
that?
no.
Oh,
It
me and my
just-
sister was to do that with movies. We'd like all be a different character, and we'd like pretend we were the movie.
It was just part of our life.
I
It really
I
was.
just
It was a way of
remember
life.
the youngest one of your family being the one who has to be made marrying.
I'm the youngest. Okay. No, I'll be her.
I have
Actually, no,
sisters. Why? Why are you not made marrying?
She has some badass armor when you first meet her, though,
Yeah.
so that's okay. I could do that if I get
The
to.
real question is, did you ever wear your mum's tights?
No.
not?
Why are we going there?
Is this
Robin
related to
Hood.
the film
Because
or?
Men in Tights.
I've never seen Men in Tights.
Wow.
Wow.
I think I
Never
remember
mind.
this conversation before.
Yeah.
Actually.
This I don't need to. I've got my Robin Hood, and he's Kevin Costner.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, actually, load of his movies, phenomenal. But again, we could go down like or John Candy movies, things like that. They could all be up there. But
Mark
if I
Wahlberg?
have to pick one, all Mark Wahlberg movies.
I guess the real point of our movie section has been we love the 80s.
I suppose
It's going to be like that if we
We
ever
all
talk about
picked
music.
We
It's going
all
to be
picked
like...
80s films.
I wasn't even
Oh, we
alive.
totally did.
We weren't even alive.
No, we weren't
in the
alive.
80s. That's...
I finally
Yeah.
saw Cool Runnings at Christmas.
Yeah, that was on TV.
Yeah.
You made me so happy.
I'd never seen it before.
That
It's
should
such a
not-
John Candy.
It's not one of John Candy's must-sees, I gotta say.
Absolutely not. But everyone I know
Oh, it's
seems
a
to be
great
offended
film,
Yeah.
when I did say I hadn't seen it.
It's Disney as well, which is...
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like sports as well, so it was kind of nice to watch that.
Yeah.
Purely because it's based on a true story. I was hoping that you'd see some archive footage and things.
I'm not really a fan of documentaries, so that's totally a lie.
John Candy saved that team.
Yeah. Not a lot of people know that it was John Candy that actually did that.
I wonder if there's anyone who actually believes that. They think that that was the documentary of what happened.
Okay, so the last one is just something science or technology based. Your favorite thing. And I gave you guys like a day, and I've been thinking about it for about a fortnight, and I'm having a hard time because it probably is video game consoles. Like,
That is up there.
of course, it's precluded by all this
Like screens.
electricity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we shouldn't go down that route.
Yeah,
That's
because we could just
been
make,
nitpicking all
we
day.
could just sit and watch Video Games the movie, and they could explain it for us because
Yeah.
they do the video game history part at the beginning.
Well, I mean, it all started on oscilloscopes
Yeah.
and things like that. I think the video game console or the PC. I think PC, because it wasn't specifically invented for video games, makes it seem like I should go with consoles. Because even though nowadays they're not really made for playing video games so
Well,
much.
what was the first console you owned?
My uncle's old Atari 2600.
And would you say that was what did it for you for video games?
No, it was definitely the PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
I had an Atari and then I got a Sega later growing up. But I was still very much an outdoors kid at that time.
Yeah.
I loved playing Sonic, but it was mostly like, oh, it's a really miserable day, or no one's out to play, so
Yeah.
I'll just stay in and play Sonic. It wasn't until basically when my parents split up, I didn't really go out for like almost a year, other than to go to school. So I spent a lot of time. That's when I started playing Metal Gear Solid and Final Fantasy VII, Tomb Raider. First time I ever played Tomb Raider. Like, I love Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
Or at least I did back then.
Well,
It's
the game's
it's
great.
getting good again.
Yeah.
But I think the games console, just the ability to play video games, it's my favourite way of consuming a story. I love what video games do.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think for me it's video games.
That's a good one. I guess quite predictable.
Yeah,
Suppose.
I feel like I've let myself down in having such predictable answers, but I don't think anyone would have predicted Hocus Pocus. So.
No, I didn't see that coming. Yeah.
Don't judge me.
Well, I mean, your granny was a witch, so maybe that had something to do with it. That's another story for another time.
Yeah, that's an entire episode I've got.
I guess I've always been quite science-minded. Like, I'm trying to think how to word this. It was only until recently that I realised I had such a passion for games and wanted to make games, because before that I did physics at uni, and so I've always been like thinking about science. And I guess like obviously the invention of the internet is very crucial, it's a very good invention, but I'd just say all the work that Richard Feynman did, because he's just my favourite scientist, he's just a great personality, and he just did so much that really like excelled quantum physics. And so I'd say just him, just whoever, his parents, like, good job on Richard Feynman, because he was a great man.
Was he the one that did string theory? Is that his? Or?
No, I don't feel confident answering that, because string theory is something I never really looked into, and it's something that's kind of a big, wide, like, abstract thing. He did a lot of work on electron spins, and he was just kind of like, you know how Brian Cox is now, where he's just very in the public eye for physics. Richard Feynman was doing that, but he was also actually working in universities, not just like working for the BBC. And I haven't read any of his books in a long time, so I feel like I'm not really prepared to talk about him, but he was just such a great guy. I'll have to read.
He was
more
definitely
about
responsible for getting a lot of people into it, like much like, as you say.
Yeah,
Brian
and like
Cox
Einstein
and
went to some of Richard Feynman's lectures. You know, like that's a big deal.
Yeah, of course. I think growing up, The only person I had who was a little bit like that was Patrick Moore.
He was great. as well.
Obviously, I watched him on Games Master, but I also really enjoyed watching Sky at Night.
Sky at Night's a great show.
And things like I actually went to one of his talks maybe about 10 years ago or so,
Wow.
and he's really funny. He had, I don't know if he was autistic or had Asperger's, but he wasn't a people person
No.
by nature, but he was charming and funny, and he just like, I only interacted with him to get a book signed.
Yeah.
But Patrick Moore was one of kind of my science heroes. He was one of the people that got me interested in space and astrology and stuff.
I don't say astrology, please. This is science.
Sorry, astronomy. Oh God.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's another podcast.
Yeah. I'm gonna bleep that one.
It's a swear word.
Yeah.
We can't say that one. We can leave fucking, but astrology, no.
He's the one who had me really interested in homeopathy.
No!
All right, no.
Wow.
Okay. So, Alice, what about you?
I'm completely drawing a blank, so I'm gonna go with the thing that turns your pee into water.
Oh, good one.
Because although it made me intensely uncomfortable to watch.
Saves lives.
Yeah, I know. But it was the fact that it was on like BBC News or something, and they had a male and a female presenter in the middle of the desert, and he pees into this bottle, hands it to her, and she drinks it.
Oh.
And she's like, "Oh, it's a bit warm."
Wow.
Oh, geez.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, great in theory.
I assume it's just a little
What?
bit like you do a handstand, and then the pee starts to travel back out. That's how it works, right?
Yeah.
Because you put the water in your
Yeah.
mouth and then it comes out as pee. So
You
if
know
you're
that
upside
video
down,
of the monkey?
Go on.
No.
I don't
Don't
think
think.
the video of the monkey.
Have you not seen? It's like so old.
There isn't a frog involved, is there?
No, it's
No,
the video
okay.
of the
Never
mind.
monkey
Oh, God.
that's just drinking from the tap, so to speak.
Oh, okay.
Gross. That once I was genuinely in a science lesson.
I just don't know how to react to that. Sorry. Okay.
On what
Laughter.
Ross
Laughter.
said.
Nervous
I was genuinely in a science lesson where some kid put his hand up and he was like, "Miss," and she's like, "Yeah." He's like, "If you sat on an apple, would you shit out of your mouth?" And she just didn't know how to respond to that. Like, because how would you respond to that? She was just like, "Get out." I'm not dealing with that. So, science.
Ta-da!
So yeah, this is the general level of sophistication you can expect from our science section.
Shit jokes.
There might be someone who has like a basic grasp of what we're talking about, but that's going to be made up with other people just going, "Is it a little bit like when you sit on an apple?"
These are all good questions. There's nothing wrong with that. It should be encouraged.
So Matt's
No,
favourite
expand the
No,
mind.
no, it is not.
Okay, maybe not that specific
No,
one.
That's how
That's
you
not
respond-
healthy.
I mean,
Let's
that's how
not
you respond
talk
to
about
that kid.
things
Oh, okay,
expanding.
right, yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
God.
Okay, so
Anyway.
this is a question that Matt has been dreading, I think.
Well, I've been
I think
thinking about
that's
it as
been
it's been
dreading
going
all
around the
day.
table.
I'm gonna guess
Okay,
that it's
please
like
do.
the internal combustion engine or something.
I went down the car route and then I wasn't sure, and because I was out last night using my telescope, I think I might just go there because it's
Well, Galileo was a great guy.
exactly.
Been to his museum, it's awesome. They have some of his fingers there.
Oh yeah, you said this.
They
This
have-
is kind of unnecessary.
It's really weird.
Well, he's not using them anymore.
And
It's
some of
okay.
his-
No one else is using them either. Like, don't
Well, no, it was like on a string, and you could just like use it to point at stuff.
get his
Like,
fingerprints.
I'm very interested in this thing, and you just kind of point it
Like the
at the glass.
tongs in a
Yeah,
supermarket. Please
yeah.
replace
Like,
after
Please
use.
replace the fingers.
Walk around, point at things.
Yeah, yeah.
Walk in and someone's winding up his middle finger.
That's the invention I like the best.
Yeah.
So yeah, all things vehicle related were very close, but it's just so much fun to just sit out and look at. I love space science and such, and just relaxing looking at the stars. It's beautiful. I just
It's awful that I can't pick you up on using the phrase space science, when I refer to it as astrology.
And universities
Well,
use
because
the
it's a-
phrase space science.
Yeah?
Yeah, like when I was applying to universities, they were like in the prospect. Is it plural of prospectus? Prospecti? Let's go.
You're
with it.
asking the wrong people.
So in the prospecti, it would like show courses for space science, and I was like, you could be a bit more specific, but I guess you need a word to generalise
Exactly.
all of the things
Earth
that goes
stuff.
onto it.
Is that biology? Yes, it is.
Well, I don't mind being vague about it because there's so much that
I know, I'm just being
I'm
honest.
attracted to. No, I appreciate that, but it's I think I have that in a profile of one of the social media things that it does say all things space science, and I don't like it, but it's the best word there is.
And
Okay.
it's not wrong. Like it's a word
No.
that's used, or a phrase that's used.
But yeah, and I grew up in the countryside. I've got to add to that about the telescope thing. So watching the stars and possibly seeing the aurora once when I was too young to know what it was.
I really,
Even though I don't live north enough to do
yeah,
that.
I
So
really,
you
I
can see
really
the
want to see
aurora
that.
at this latitude.
Absolutely, yeah. At certain
Yeah.
times, I just remember being utterly spellbound. We were about to walk in my front door of the house, and my parents pointed up, and it was just this crazy twinkling lights
Wow,
above us.
yeah.
It wasn't green or anything like that, like you see in the photographs. It was more white, but we had no idea what it was, and eventually we just walked in the house. I should have gone out there longer, but it's a great memory.
I've only ever seen them in Skyrim.
The
I've seen
aurora
a
is kind
shooting
of like my
star,
jam. So
Yeah,
well,
it's your thing.
yeah, like whenever it gets to this time of year, I always try to like keep an eye on when they're going to be around. And like last year, went to Iceland and went to go view aurora. Got some amazing pictures, and we're going to probably try and go up north in Scotland a bit and see some because they're just great. Like, and I just love the science behind them as well. So yeah,
Well, I'm going to be moving slightly further north soon into a less built-up area.
like not even 1 degree north.
Slightly
Like, come
further.
on.
Hey, out of the city centre, you'll
Yeah,
get
out
some
of the city is
fantastic
good. Yeah.
views.
So I'm kind of looking forward to the possibility of seeing some astral phenomenon.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of your introduction to us, irreverent and nerdy. That's pretty much the words that I would expect to be used to describe us. Cool. So I guess the first section that you would maybe get used to hearing us talk about is games. So there's not really much going on in games at the moment.
I have an idea.
Okay.
So you have this list of games that are coming out.
Mhm.
A lot of us are clueless about them.
Okay.
I say we just say, for instance, I don't want to pick any one in particular, but we
Okay.
pick the name of a game and give it to say Matt and be like, "What is this game?" And he just has to
That
tell us
is
what he thinks this
dangerous.
game is.
Dangerous.
Okay. Let's see.
Zelda.
That's an easy one. Let's go with Uncharted 4. Matt, what's Uncharted 4? Just you know, don't think about it. Just tell us what it is.
Now, I want to. I get confused between this and Far Cry 4.
Okay.
So, Uncharted 4. I have images of a train. I think that's from the last version.
It's from the second one.
Okay, the second one, where you're a guy running around an island kicking up a storm, which is Far Cry 3, which is what I did play. I completed that and I really enjoyed it. And you've got to... I don't know. What's with the name? I don't understand. This is
Not on
really
the
tough.
charts,
He
obviously.
makes maps. That's his thing.
He
That's
makes
what he
really
does.
shit music. Never goes on the charts.
I've already forgotten what it's called. What was it?
Uncharted.
Well, Uncharted. He has to go.
That's why the joke's funny.
You're supposed to laugh now.
He has to go off the grid to get his family back after they've been kidnapped. How about that?
Okay, Ross.
Which, for the fourth time, I should add. So we should really do something about
Is
that.
this like Taken all over again?
It is.
Ross,
It
how
may
did
well
you?
be.
I feel like you are probably, or maybe Alice. Do you know much about Uncharted?
Well, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
go, how do you do?
It's Indiana Jones, basically.
Oh, I
Wear a
like that.
hat.
Yeah.
I need to play these games.
It's male Lara
It's
Croft
really good.
with about the same amount of cleavage.
Oh,
I never played Tomb Raider, so I don't know.
any Tomb Raider
You do
games?
see
None.
quite a lot of chest actually on Nathan Drake.
He's, yeah.
That's actually what I think of.
completely
The cover art is
male
just a very
Lara
open
Croft.
shirt and it's kind of
Like, look
billowy.
at my pecs. I'm gonna go.
That's not very Indiana
that's,
Jones.
That's one of the lines.
Indiana Jones is sexy. Come on.
Oh, I'm not denying that. I'm not disputing the sexiness of Indiana Jones. I'm just saying he wasn't all about check.
It's because he didn't need to.
Check
He
me
was
out.
more like less is more.
He smouldered.
And also,
That's a good way of
it has
describing it.
Morgan in it.
Oh,
but
does
she's
it?
slightly less helpful.
Wait, is it the voice actress?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't think
And
the witch would be turning up like,
basically
hey.
look the same, to be honest. But
Really?
yeah, black hair.
Well, yeah, there we go.
Black hair and boobs.
Yeah.
But women all look the same, right?
Oh god, don't start.
God. Anyway,
Okay, Sophia, Uncharted to you.
Well, we covered it though.
Oh, sorry.
Explaining.
Oh, Indiana Jones, of course. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
okay. Here's one because it's a bit of a weird concept in itself. Battlefield Hardline.
Oh, for me.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know that Battlefield is a shooter.
Uh-huh.
I think I played Battlefield Bad Company.
Yeah.
And I remember destroying a building. And that was pretty cool. And its hardline is kind of more tactical, and things are getting hard.
It sounds
Maybe if
like,
you really like Battlefield.
It sounds like Battlefield crossed with Magic Mike.
Yes.
What?
Unsubscribe. Unsubscribe.
God, Battlefield. Like, it's hard for me to describe this because when I think of Battlefield Hardline, I think it's going to be another generic bro shooter. So that's what I think the Battlefield Hardline is.
It might be a little bit like that.
Is it like there's more like?
It's cops and robbers.
Yeah. Yes, I remember now. I remember it being talked about.
It's a bit of a strange one because it takes the Battlefield mechanics and then applies it to like an inner city gang and cops fight.
Okay.
So it could be really good fun. And you get like really cool things that don't really make sense, like grappling hooks.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've watched it being played. I didn't actually take part in it, but it looked quite fun
Yeah.
for a Battlefield, and I that's the kind of game that I can jump into, but not for long.
Yeah.
And I'm not great at first-person shooters, so when you get annihilated round after round, you kind of pass it over to your friend who's great, and you go, I'm just going to confuse the enemy. I've made them think that you're a bad player. Now you can go and school them all. It's fine.
Yeah, that's a pretty good technique, actually.
Mm.
Cool. Okay. Let's see. Oh, the rest are all a bit kind of everyone like. You guys are going to know about The Witcher 3 because we've spoken about it at length.
I know that it's
Digital
like
boobs.
it's high fantasy with a ton of sex, and you make choices, and people are mean.
Wow.
That's it.
Is that it?
I don't actually.
That's a box quote.
And for all the boobs that you see, you never get to see Geralt's butt. And
Oh.
that's such a disappointment.
Well, maybe in Witcher 3.
Well, 16 hours, there's got to be a little bit of booty in there.
With the mocap, did people have to have sex to get this mocap?
Are you thinking of just like an actor with the black suit and the ping pong balls all over his butt?
I was thinking more like it was gonna.
Don't
in
sit
my
down!
head-
Oh.
In my head, I thought it was like actual naked people that they've just kind of stuck electrodes onto, like heart monitor.
That sounds like Mengele-esque.
What?
Naked people with electrodes on them.
So
It sounds like Nazi scientists.
this 16 hours of motion captured sex.
Yeah.
And are these all parts of missions you can you don't see this throughout the game no matter what, or are these side quests where if you go in
The opening video.
it's 16 hours of sex?
The
It's like
opening,
Metal Gear Solid.
the opening video of Witcher 3 is apparently, I assume, a flashback to
I get
Geralt
it. Like, 'cause
having
it's naked
sex
butt.
with Yennefer, who's this character who's been mentioned in every game, but we've never actually seen her
Okay.
because he's lost his memory, but he remembers her. But
Romantic.
he doesn't know why, and all the while he's been shagging all these other women that he comes across.
What a dickhead.
So the developers were like, oh, well, we want to introduce you to this character and give you a reason to look for her. Apparently that means digital boobs. Because why else would you want another character in your game?
Think about the interactions that you have on a daily basis with people who play video games. I think that's a pretty big target audience, is people who like boobs.
Well, there was a study recently. The largest audience of gamers is now adult women. The largest portion. The
Yeah.
majority is adult women.
Last time I saw it was a 47%.
If
Well, that,
Yes.
like, out... Yeah, but that's still the biggest majority. Like, everyone else, no one was as high as
Oh,
47%,
right.
because
okay.
everyone else was smaller
Oh, right, okay.
categories, if
Oh,
that
of
makes
course.
sense.
Yeah, talking
So
about
it's not like they
demographics.
had more than half, but they just had the biggest
Gotcha.
portion.
Okay, cool. Is that including things like mobile gaming as well?
Yeah.
or-
Which obviously, like, it's up to you whether you think they're a game, but it is, like, obviously a lot of adult women play them, but I think that doesn't take away from the fact that there are many, like, teenage... Well, when I say adult, I assume, like, 16 plus. So that, like, 16 to 60-year-olds, I guess, a lot of them will be playing regular games, I want to say, like, not mobile games.
It's encouraging.
Yeah, it really
It's
is.
encouraging to see that, and hopefully it won't be quite so rare and won't be quite so toxic an environment. But that's a podcast in of itself.
Yeah, absolutely.
When I was in uni and one of the guys on my course saw on Steam that I was playing Witcher 2, the only thing he had to say about it was, how about them sex scenes, right?
Oh, God. But it's people like
And
that who
we've
make
been
other women
together
not wanna
ever
play.
since.
And I had never spoken to this guy in person.
Did you reply to that message or did you just close it?
I closed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, I'm thinking of that from a shy boy's... It's just a shame the only thing he could think to say
I've never spoken
was
to
that.
him.
Yeah, but he
before.
was trying to find out a way to speak to you. Just he
There
chose
are
the wrong
So
thing.
many other things.
Oh hey, sex.
Hi, for example. How are you? Enjoying the game?
Oh yeah, there's many of it.
Saying that, if I'm playing an RPG like that, I don't want anyone talking to me.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like,
And
it
well-
was bad enough that he was talking to me.
My
Saying
gir-
that, like, while I was playing Dragon Age Origins, I was texting Alice throughout to either get advice or just let her know what my party were doing because it was a whole thing.
And then you just get replies like, why are you doing that?
Yeah, or why is your playthrough so ridiculous? What were you going to say, Ross?
No, I was just... it's just kind of painful sometimes thinking back to the stuff I might have said if I had the kind of access to the internet that I do nowadays.
Yeah.
It's kind of shameful. But anyway, moving on.
Matt looks worried.
No, just we could go down a whole route of the way that technology like, takes you back to your favourite piece that there's of technology. I should add.
I thought you were talking about, like,
just-
a sandwich.
Just not the negatives that come with all
Scottish
technology.
joke
It's just a shame that kids that grow up with it don't really know what the heck's going on.
Yeah, that, like, it's weird to think that there's kids growing up that Facebook is part of their life.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's not like it's a
Exactly.
new thing. It's just not natural.
It needs
part
to be
of life
there.
That you, like, maybe when you turn 12, it's like you get your first Facebook account, and it's just crazy to me.
Like, I remember when having a mobile phone was a big deal, and now having a mobile phone that does everything is just the thing. Like,
It's normal, yeah.
if your parents don't get you under, it's child abuse, and you
Yeah.
phone up,
Social services.
yeah,
Child line.
it's crazy, but that's
But we're just old fogies.
yeah, I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
But in the style of old fogies, we know we're right.
Yes,
We do.
you're absolutely right.
Everyone's. I would hope you've seen the Louis C.K. interview where he talks about why he doesn't want his daughter to have a mobile phone, and it's just spot on.
I haven't seen that. But
You need to
we'll
look it
put
up.
Like,
It's,
I'm going to add that along with this blog, we're going to have along with this podcast, we'll have a blog with links of everything we talked about. So if anyone wants to like read about the game we talked about, read about a news story we've talked about, we'll just put it on link dump. I'm calling it a link dump because that's what Rooster Teeth call it. We can come up with a better name.
we're our own thing.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll put it in a list of links, and you can read about what we're talking about. So if it's something that we don't want to divulge into, we'll just put a link. You can read about it, things like that.
Cool.
I was going to bring pen and paper to write down everything we've spoken about, so I could remember to do it. But I'll just listen back to this and make a list.
That's cool.
And
Okay.
Cringe so hard.
Yeah, I hate her own voice. It's going to be difficult to get used to.
That's alright. I'm like after a few months, I'm kind of used to it now.
Did you never record your own your
Yeah,
voice on a
and
little
I-
tape
and I
player and
hated
pretend you were a
it.
radio DJ? Just
But
me?
It's not an
Okay.
accurate representation of what you sound like because recorders are shite.
I really
They were the pinnacle of technology in my
Again, we
day.
used to
Alice
make
actually
movies.
sounds like John Goodman.
And Sophia is actually Morgan Freeman.
No, I'm
So-
Christopher Walken. Okay.
Oh god, let's not.
Opening a can of worms there.
Let's
Yeah.
not.
That-
It had to happen at some
We
point.
did.
Just mentioning him.
Yeah, and it would just evolve from there.
It's something of the Office tradition, I guess.
He's like our mascot, I think. He's our spirit animal. He's our collective spirit
Christopher
animal.
Walken is
Yeah.
yes. It might be the case.
Now I just want to see a picture of Christopher Walken as like a little spirit animal.
Would you say like a ghost? Like a ghost?
We're not doing it.
We're
We're
not
not
doing
doing it.
I can't even describe what that noise was.
Yeah.
It will come out in time.
John Travolta is also something of a.
No!
I assume that's where you were
It
going.
was
with
where we were
Ghost.
going, but I thought we'd at
Matt
least
only
have
just
I'm
got
sorry,
it.
I had no idea where we were going there, guys. My memory is atrocious. This is good for posterity. I can listen to this again when I'm old.
So, guys, episode 1. Matt, we're on episode 4.
Oh no.
I was just hoping we'd wait a few episodes before we got to John Travolta.
No.
What? No. Oh, that's Mark Wahlberg.
That's true, yes.
Oh, okay.
Oh no.
Cool. Anyway, we will avoid the in-jokes from work. Because that's going to get,
Until we
that's
at
gonna
least
get real
explain them a
topics.
bit better.
We'll
Like,
try.
we need
Yeah.
to explain them.
So we only have 5 minutes left or so. So I thought we can either do movies or we can do tech stories if anyone has one.
There was something. We'll do movies because I can't think of it off the top of my head that I wanted to talk about.
Okay, movies. Me being the colossal nerd I am, the 4 that I've pulled, only one of them I know everyone will be looking forward to, and that's Mockingjay 2.
Yeah.
You guys have read the books.
Mhm.
Yes.
You get very emotional when you talk about it.
I'm so emotionally attached to those books. Like, it was really hard when I stopped reading them just to get out of that world. It was difficult.
I get the feeling everyone's just kind of retreated inside themselves to just consider mortality, and I'm
Well,
guessing many prominent people die.
I still haven't seen Mockingjay Part 1 because I just finished reading the Mockingjay book when that one came out, and so I'd like watching them on Netflix anyways because they're all going to Netflix, which is great. So but yeah, I know what happens. So
Okay.
And I know what happens because she got so emotional she had to tell me.
I spoiled the
Oh,
ending of Mockingjay.
that's-
But she
that
said
is
it was
harsh.
okay.
I've
Like,
never read them.
I
I've never
needed-
seen the movies.
I needed
Have you not
someone
said
to
that
talk
you
to.
don't care about spoilers anyway?
Yeah.
And it wasn't
Pretty
like it
much.
was huge spoilers. It was just
I'm
like
a
I needed to
masochist.
talk about the movie, about the book, sorry, and Alice was online, and I was like, look, I just need to vent.
Cool.
Yeah,
That's what
everyone
friendship is.
It's well,
Except
it's just it's an unexpected ending. It's
I just felt
how,
like
how
it
far do you
wasn't
go? I
quite-
certainly don't want to ruin it for you.
Candice.
It's a good story. I enjoyed the story, but
Well, I guess
the movies are doing quite a good
if
job.
we're keeping
of
it light, we'll just. Are you guys excited to see the film?
Yeah, totally. Well, I don't know because I feel like the first half of the Mockingjay book is like the best half, and I feel like it might get super depressing. But it depends how they do
No,
it.
no, no. I mean,
It depends how they do it.
do you know where the first movie cuts off
Yeah,
or anything?
yeah, I do.
Okay, because I'm really looking forward to the core of the next
But-
movie.
I was
There's a
quite-
lot of
I
warfare
was
going to happen.
quite
and it's-
surprised to see how dark it was.
Yeah, it's good.
Like,
I've
'cause
heard
the first
where it
one,
ends.
the first
Sorry.
one is like a PG-13 version of Battle Royale.
Yeah.
You
But
know,
then, like,
yeah,
it's when
yeah.
you get into the deeper story behind all the districts and everything, is where it starts to become its own universe that's so amazing and deep.
yeah, it's obviously got quite a strong kind of allegory with modern society, specifically British society, I think.
Well, the author said she came up with the idea because she was flicking between channels, and it was flicking between like reality TV and like horrible news stories about war,
Mhm.
and this idea just came to her, and it has to have been inspired by Battle Royale. Like, she
Yeah.
can't not have seen that, surely.
Sticking them on,
But,
on an island.
It's just a great world, but I just think that. I personally think the second one is going to be very depressing because I just was so depressed reading the book. To be honest, it's just a bit of a downer. Like,
Got that. To
but
look
they
forward
might,
to.
well, they might do it better. I hope they do it better because it has potential to be so good. Like, not change the story, but just show it a bit differently, maybe.
Cool. Okay. And Jennifer Lawrence is pretty cool.
Oh, she's awesome.
I
I think she's my
everyone-
favourite.
Everyone loves.
No
Jennifer
complaints there.
Cool. I guess. I mean, I'm taking charge here, so it's got to be episode 7. I don't know how big you guys are on Star Wars,
yeah.
but I'm tentative, but excited.
I'm excited just because it's going to be something new.
Yeah, I'm just the fact that George Lucas doesn't really have a big role to play.
He's kind of been a stroppy teenager about the whole thing.
It's
though.
promising. Yeah, but they've taken his toy away from him.
They took it away from him ages ago. Like,
Yeah, and he got paid handsomely for this toy.
yeah.
I just feel like it's like the Lord of the Rings and the Hobbit. Like, no matter how good it is, no one's ever going to say it's better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Not only that, half the people won't even like it. They'll just set
Yeah.
themselves up for a fall. No matter how good episodes 1 to 3 were, they were never going to be as
So,
good as people hoped.
I'm excited, but I'm fully expecting it to be slated completely.
Did you
I
say
hope
you
that
have
it
a
pleasantly
new hope?
surprises people.
I'm leaving now. Seriously.
Yeah,
My
but I am
job.
super looking forward to that. J.J. Abrams?
J.J. Abrams, yeah.
Did Star Trek
Captain
movies,
Lynch.
Exactly.
And I like the Star Trek movies.
But yeah, I really enjoyed Star Trek, and he's a passionate guy. And all the clips you've seen online of him being in the set and talking to you just get a good vibe about it. And I go to the cinema, the positive frame of mind. I don't want to nitpick and things like that.
Too many people go in with dread.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw episode 1 on the release weekend of episode 1. I saw it 4 times.
Yeah.
We'd already booked our tickets, so it's not as if we said this thing's a great movie. Let's keep on going.
It has its moments, just not
Exactly.
not
And I was a lot younger, so it was
usually.
actually not too bad. And you speak
Yeah.
to any kid that's grown up with episode 1 to 3 as the first movies, they really enjoy them.
Well, yeah. When
And
I was
3PO
a kid, I
used
thought
to
they were
annoy
great,
everybody.
But it's just, well, obviously, I watched the first Star Wars movies when I was a very young kid and loved them, and then the new ones came out. I think, how old must I have been? Maybe still in single digits when they came out. What year did the
99.
Yeah, I was still in single digits when they came out, and I thought they were great in the cinema. And it's only when I got to like late teens, early 20s that I realised that people really didn't like them. And I'm like, it's only when I went back to watch them that I was like, oh right, yeah. But like, because I was a kid and I just enjoyed watching Star Wars, I was like, these are great.
I mean, Jedi came out 5 years before I was born, but I think it was just growing up with those films
Mhm.
that they've kind of cemented a special place in my heart.
Yeah, absolutely.
And plus, Darth Vader's so dreamy. Like, you know, before he's set on fire and everything.
Mannequin, because he's so wooden. He's awful. he rolls
He's a
around
pretty
in flowers,
mannequin.
but yeah. Okay. So on that note, we've hit an hour. Thank you if you made it this far. Hopefully we'll be getting this podcast up real soon. Working on getting some audio to go along with it, and we will have another episode for you very soon.
I guess when we get to it,
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes.
Okay. So thank you for listening.
Bye.
Ciao.